Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of the RISMedia webinar series, sponsored today by one of my favorite people and companies, Boomtown. I'm Sherry Johnson, I'm your moderator, and I'm really excited that you're joining us today because you will get some great takeaways out of this exciting panel that we have for you today, talking about how to leverage your company value to attract and keep more agents and clients. And with me today, I'm so excited. We've got a phenomenal panel, some really good friends and top brokers across the country. And I'm going to go ahead and get started and introduce our first one is Jason Gooden, managing broker at Long & Foster out of Virginia. Hi, Jason.
Hey, Sherry, good to see you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Appreciate it. And secondly, all the way from Birmingham, Alabama, from Realty South, is Earl Mooring, who is a managing broker as well. Hi, Earl. Thanks for joining us. Really excited to have you. What's that?
That's a good afternoon.
Great to have you here. And I'm Sherry Johnson. I'm a national real estate coach, speaker, and consultant, and founder and CEO of Sherry Johnson Coaching. Obviously the moderator of today's webinar, and we provide coaching services, keynote, and consulting to real estate companies and brokers and teams all over the country. And as I said, our sponsor today is Boomtown, and we've got Mac Hill, who is the advocacy and influencer manager from Boomtown. Hi, Mac.
Hi, Sherry. Thanks for having me. Bit of a mouthful there.
It's all good, and I love what you do, and I love the things you're bringing to the webinar today. As a matter of fact, tell us what's going on over at Boomtown, if you would.
Oh, lots going on. I won't take up too much of the time. I'm just happy to be in partnership with RIS and be involved in this webinar and some incredible leaders. Boomtown's got a very simple mission, and that's to make real estate agents more successful. And we do that by really leaning on our core values. So when we started to talk about this topic for this webinar and it being a big focus on culture, we knew we had to participate in this because our core values really lead the way for the culture of our company. And in fact, it's something I don't think a lot of people look at when evaluating a potential partner for technology, because ultimately the core values and culture of a business are going to create a long-term sustainable company in terms of retention of employees. As you can see here, we've got all of our core values that we truly live by day in and day out. And I'm excited to learn from Jason and Earl about how they're leveraging their culture of their company. So definitely look at a company's culture outside of just a real estate brokerage when considering a potential partner for technology. In terms of our services and technology, we have a lot going on. We can help all clients with a variety of services, from lead generation, customizable websites, a robust and integrated CRM that ties in with any of the tools that you're using in your business. So it's definitely something worth looking at. We're very consultative in how we approach providing a solution. So if you've got a business need, chances are we can help solve that. So if y'all have any questions, I'm here to help answer. Thanks for the shout out, Sherry.
Absolutely, and we have a lot of our clients use Boomtown, and they love it, and it is one of I believe, the best product out there and available. Thanks for being here today. And before we dive in to the topic, I just want everyone, if you could, go into the question area in the GoToMeeting webinar section, is where you can post your questions, ask our panelists questions, any of the four of them that are on. We're happy to answer those questions. And it always helps me, as a matter of fact, as you're logging on and listening, if you go into the question area and let us know where you're from and what city and state you're coming in from and listening in from, because we may know some of you, first of all, and it also just is a great place for you to know exactly where you're going to go to ask the questions of our great panelists today. I also want to encourage you to stay on. We've got some fantastic giveaways, both from Boomtown and from Sherry Johnson Coaching, that we're excited to give you. And these are going to be things you can implement immediately for results. So if you are trying to grow your company, you're trying to grow a team, whatever you're trying to do, that the handouts and the giveaways that we are giving out are going to be priceless. And I also want to mention that today's webinar is being recorded and will be available for a replay for you as well. So you will receive an email with the replay, and it will also be available on the RISMedia website for future viewing if you want to rewatch it. So I'm going to jump right in, and everyone's telling us where they're from, which is awesome. Great to see all of you. Hi, Julie Giles. Oh, great to see so many great people I know on here. So Earl and Jason, when it comes to culture, everybody talks about corporate culture, and sometimes this word, gets talked a lot about, but I'm not sure companies are really living it and using it on purpose and saying, we develop a culture of this, and we develop a culture where agents can use the entire management team, use the resources. And so I'd like for each of you to share with us what that means to you. How do you create culture in your offices with your sales agents? And how does that culture then help them grow and attract more clients? I'll start with you, Earl, first.
Sure. Of course, at our corporate level, we have the core values and the mission statement and all that kind of stuff. But at my branch level, and I manage 2 branches currently, but at the branch level, I've really simplified it. And my philosophy is happy agents are productive agents. And if I can make the agent's environment one where they're happy, where they're pleased, where they like coming into the office, where we solve problems, where we coach them up, where we train them, where we let them bend our ear, then they feel welcome when they come in. They feel, for lack of a better word, loved and touched. And so I'm a big fan of that happy environment. During COVID, that has been really hard in this virtual world to be able to sustain that type of culture. But going to the second part of your question, when we have happy agents and we have productive agents, it results in a successful office, right? And success breeds success, and happiness breeds happiness. And it's just kind of this snowball rolling down the hill effect. You push one domino and all the rest of the dominoes fall in place. And if they're happy, they're going to help recruit, they're going to sell, they're going to support each other, they're going to support the company and mortgage and title and all these different areas. So I think it starts with creating that culture and just dumbing it down to just happiness. And that's where.
It's awesome. You said so much there, and I completely agree. It takes on a life of its own. It almost becomes the flywheel of the environment. You said you create an environment where you listen and love on the people that are there, and you said it. It's sometimes just listening to them, sometimes. And we know agents we have so much going on right now, and each deal takes longer, and the buyers and the multiple bidding wars and everything that's going on. It's great. And it does create more success. Because success is contagious, and it becomes really a place where it's easy to recruit, and it's easy to continue to retain and keep your agents. Jason, how do you define culture, and what do you do in your world? Because you've had such an amazing growth in the last 18 months. Tell us what culture means to you.
I feel really fortunate to be with Long & Foster, because culture to me it's almost inspired by the top down. And so, Long & Foster promotes trust, family, and excellence as their 3 pillars. And I think that they do a really, really good job of pushing that message all the way down to the branch level, and including, I think this is one of the big parts for me is making all of the agents feel included and invited and welcome to participate in all of the different events, trainings, communications, and coaching that the company offers, either individually or in a group setting. So culture is a feeling of being welcomed and included.
I couldn't agree more. And I love the trust, family, and excellence. And you just said it. It's felt from the top all the way to every agent and staff member throughout the company. It can make or break an organization, and we know that. And we often look at I have this slide up right now. The speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. And if we are in leadership positions and we are trying to take these people down the road of success, partnering with them, I heard you say, feeling included, feeling a part of something, and both of your companies have that. I also believe that we build really a mutually beneficial relationship with these folks. We are business partners with them. They couldn't be successful without us. We hope that they feel that value, and that we know we wouldn't be successful without them as well. So when when we break that down into, I think Earl, you said it, coaching and helping people. Today we're going to talk about how do we grow people, how do we recruit to this thriving team, and how do we retain them and continue that value proposition so that people stay. If we're not adding value, right, they're looking at how much they get for their commission breakdown. They're looking for the tools that they get, the expenses they have. And I just think, again, both of you create that. So let me ask you this. How do you incorporate, I know a lot of people listening may have inherited an office. They may have become a new manager. They're a new broker in charge. They're a new manager in an office. They've taken over that office, and you're trying to change the culture, right? Or infuse positivity into a culture that might be toxic, maybe not because of anything this manager has done or this broker has done. What's your best, how do you get your staff on board, right? Because staff help create culture, or they take that away in some cases. So share some examples of how you have done that with your staff or with offices you might have, taken over even. Earl?
Yeah, I'll start. I mean, the same philosophy applies to staff as applies to agents. Happy staff equates to doing a happy job, pleasing the agents, and it just kind of rolls downhill. We can teach people how to do their job within a real estate environment. We can't teach people to inherently be nice, right? I mean, they're either nice or they're not. So the key to all of it, in my opinion, is hiring the right people. I inherited a very successful office, and I was very fortunate. We had three staff members, and one was extremely toxic. In my first 6 months in that office, I got rid of her. And I was so terrified that the agents, long-term agents in that office, were going to be upset that I let her go. Just the opposite happened. I mean, they were patting me on the back and saying thank you. Then I had the privilege of opening a brand new Realty South office from the ground up. And the first staff person we hired, she was young, full of energy, a social media influencer. She's now become one of our most successful agents. I mean, she just created the buzz and the energy and the excitement. And you got to have the right people in place. And if you don't, I mean, they're the eyes and the ears for the managing brokers, right? We can't be everywhere all the time, and we can't be in that office 24/7. So I don't look at the staff as staff. I look at them as an extension of my team, and we are all, even mortgage and title and all the different, we're all in this together, and the agents are our clients, and it is our job to serve those agents.
Outstanding. The agents are our first customers, right? That
Correct.
phrase, the sales team isn't the whole company, but the whole company better be the sales team, right? Because we're selling our whole value. And I love that you said they're an extension of your team. And, they are, whenever I see a manager struggling and the office is struggling, and we look at the manager who might be in that office, they may have been there maybe too long. It's a direct reflection, a mirror reflection of the leadership, and it was like that for me when I was managing. And if I was off, my team was off, and I could never let them see you have a bad day, because it just directly affects everybody. So really great stuff, Earl. Thank you. And Jason, how about with your changes and the things you've done over the past, 2 or 3 years now?
So we, something very similar to Earl maybe is, we took over an existing office that had probably seen better days. And so for me, revitalizing or renewing or refreshing the culture came down to, certainly personality and one's ability to get along with the population of agents in the office. But you don't get that unless you're accessible. And so I have made a point of, driving home the fact that I'm always here, always available, and always happy to help. And so, that obviously this strategy may not last forever, but for the last couple of years, it's been really successful because I do get the calls, from the agents, and especially in this time of COVID, where the agents aren't necessarily coming to the office regularly. While I spend a lot of time here in the office and the agents know that I'm here for them, they also know that I'll text them back immediately and I'll answer the phone when they call. And, our office support, we have our admin is Stacia, and she has been around the Long & Foster company for a long time, and she's super supportive, and the agents love her, and she is literally my right hand. And so if they're not calling me, they're calling her. And so I think part of this culture is knowing that they have access to support when they need it.
Sherry,
yeah.
Let me add something, kind of following up on Jason made me think of something. We have done this thing at Realty South where kind of instead of being top down or bottom up, we've kind of tried to become more linear, right? And we're trying to be more collaborative, office to office. We have 23 offices statewide, so that's just in brokerage, and we have so there are a lot of wheels turning, right? And what we have done, it started with our leadership team in our corporate office asking us to have an accountability partner. So another managing broker to kind of serve as kind of an accountability partner. And that's grown and changed and kind of evolved over the years. But now we have our agents trained. So they try to call me and can't get me, they can call Dan Fleming in another office of ours.
Right.
And it's working beautifully. It's taken a while for them to become comfortable with that. But that collaborative approach, office to office, broker to broker, we used to compete all the time, right? And we're trying to break down those barriers and create this Realty South umbrella where our agents reach out across the board when I'm not available or he's not available, and it's working.
I love it. And it is collaboration, and it's, really everybody wins. And, you have accountability partners, that in itself is a game changer. Talk about breaking the walls of competitiveness among offices when you can share goals with each other, you share results, you share best practices with each other. I've had the privilege and pleasure of being in both of your physical offices to see what you've done and how you do it. And I've been at sales meetings with both of you. I'm actually going to jump over and talk about on purpose growth. And both of you have had tremendous growth in your offices. You've had tremendous growth in your sales volume of driving more listings and more sales. Did I go the wrong way? There we go. And, that doesn't happen by accident. when you put a plan in place and you follow that plan and you map out what you're going to do, and you work with agents, I'm going to ask you some questions about how you create that increase of listings and market share. Right now, how we're first going to talk about sales meetings, and Mac, of course, jump in anytime you want. Did we lose somebody?
We may have lost Earl. I don't see him anymore.
I know. I'll ask our producer, Peter, if he could.
They had a level 5 storm warning where Earl is, and he warned us in the beginning that he may get interrupted by a tornado. Yeah.
They are, yes, Jason, they are having a high weather warning, and that may have been it. So
yeah, Sherry, so this is Peter. I do see that Earl has gone offline, but I'll keep an eye out if he comes back on, but I'm assuming it must be storm related.
Yeah, and I'll be checking to see if he's texting me. So I started to say, and Mac, I want your input at any point, because you are firsthand in companies, you see their culture, you see real estate brokerages and what they're doing, and I would love you to chime in at any point. So sales meetings are, it's interesting when I go around the country and I talk to and work with clients and work with companies of all different models. It's interesting that some companies have, gone away with sales meetings. Then they brought them back during the pandemic, just because it was the only place they could see people. Many of my clients shockingly discovered that having a weekly sales meeting would actually increase results. Jason, I think you're smiling already. So I'll have you talk about what is your how do you use the sales meeting? There you are, Earl. He's back, thank goodness. No, he's not. Jason, how have you changed your sales meetings, and how do you use them as a way to drive listings, drive sales, drive production, motivate, hold people accountable? How do you formulate your sales meetings, and what are they like?
So previously, when I was, involved in sales as an agent, I was one of those agents who was generally busy and didn't see a lot of value in the sales meeting. And so, that mentality transferred over to management with me. And so it was really you who inspired me, I think, to maybe change my mindset or to reset with respect to the sales meeting and what value could come out of a sales meeting. And so, since then, we're together every single week. Whereas it was, very, very optional. And it was every couple of weeks at best. Now we're together every single week. And so certainly during COVID, it has become even more important because we don't get together, in person. And so I feel like it's critical that I get to see these people, if not in person, by Zoom, as often as possible. And so it's usually a couple of times a week. We'll do a sales meeting or we'll do a training or something so that we can get together. And I think, it gives us an opportunity to recognize success, our listings and our sales and our production winners. And so it's an opportunity for the other agents who maybe aren't as busy to see that there is success and there are sales going on all around them. And so it's an opportunity to motivate, inspire, and encourage the agents who aren't necessarily as busy as some other agents in the office. And so it's a tool that I think is useful for a variety of reasons, not just to keep in touch.
I remember you implementing, monthly sales goals for the whole team, and how everybody contributes to that number, whether you bring in one sale or you bring in 5 sales. And I just remember that being so well received that everybody, again, felt included. They felt like they were a part of. In a secret kind of mission, you're really holding people accountable with that leaderboard, with how many sales you've had, or, oh my gosh, my name isn't on here, I need to get busy. So I think that's awesome. And, weekly, like that, analogy of a freight train. You stop and start the freight train. It takes a while to get it back up to that high speed. And if you meet only twice a month out there for the listeners, and what if some of your people don't make one meeting? You're only seeing them really once a month. So that freight train concept of like, we are going and we are going, and look at the growth you've had. It's been so amazing to watch. It is just the best. I love it. I get a front row center seat for it, and it's just outstanding. So kudos to you, because I know there was some, I was the same way. My sales meetings, when I was an agent, I was like, I don't have an hour to go listen to agents complain about things, and you got to have value. There's 55 people at that sales meeting. That's 55 hours of not selling time. And so we, as a leadership, as a manager of your office, you got to be delivering value. So Earl, you're back. Thank you.
I'm back. I apologize.
That's okay. We expected maybe this could happen. So I'm glad you're back, and you're back on. We're talking about sales meetings. You give a great sales meeting. I've attended them, actually. Tell the audience what makes your sales meeting, so great. And even, pre-COVID, because before we get into talking about how we've managed and gone virtual in the next segment, right now, just like, how is the sales meeting so integral in creating that energy and environment for your agents to succeed?
Well, for one, we'll begin with the social interaction, which they're all just craving right now in the world of COVID. But it was very much an event, right? Breakfast, get together, see people you hadn't seen in a while. It was enjoyable and fun, and we're playing music, and we have green balloons for contracts and for closings, and white balloons for new listings, and red balloons for contracts. And it was a fun, festive environment. And going to what y'all were just talking about, I don't want to repeat things, but adding value. I mean, we've got to have the sales meeting, not where I stand up and say, fill out a contract this way and turn in this, though I have to do that, right? But it's not about me talking to them. It's about a guest speaker telling them how to improve sales. It's about a peer talking about a situation. We've been spending a lot of time lately sharing about all the things that are happening in this crazy market. So agents want to be involved in sales meeting too. And then we do the traditional, we share new listings and coming soons and buyer needs. But I try, and I haven't been real successful lately, but I try real hard to get them out in 45 or 50 minutes. And we have great attendance, and we get great feedback from our, like we had yesterday, we had an appraiser come in, and he talked about managing appraisals in this crazy market. And so a lot of value that I think that we add.
So I love the balloons. I love that it's fun and you play music, because I think that's the mood setter right there. Playing fun music, people get a good mood. It's upbeat, it's energetic, it's high energy, and teaching the agents how to use the company tools, teaching them how to use the company value proposition to compete at a better, higher level and win. So that's, most agents, they know we have these tools. They know we have the dashboard they could go to. What they don't know is how to use that to leverage the win. Like, how do I use our sales meeting as a listing tool? Well, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we sell houses during our sales meeting. We're one of the only companies that still have sales meetings. And there's, I used to call ours the best networking event of the week. And you said it's an event. Earl, it is an event. And if you miss it, you feel like you're going to miss something. And
the interesting thing, Sherry, to play on what you're saying, and I don't want to get ahead into the COVID world, but I'm going to. We are doing 3 offices together now via Zoom on sales meeting. And what has happened in that collaborative spirit, our 3 offices make a triangle and we're all within 15 miles of each other. We kind of play in the same sandbox. And what we've done by merging these office sales meetings together, we are selling houses. We are selling each other's properties. And I'm seeing it in contracts that come across my desk. And it's just been amazing to me that it goes to what you're saying. You use it in a listing presentation. That's how we're adding value to the agent, is we're saying we're selling houses and here's how we do it. And we have the numbers now to prove it. It's just been amazing to watch all that happen.
It is. It's fun. And I love that you just segued into that, because what a great way to also lower those silo walls of other offices and the competition that sometimes happens. You know what I mean? It's like, and I also want to comment that, the sales meeting is sales. We don't have to teach them how to fill out a contract. We're teaching them how to go get more sales and convert leads and make money. And I think that's a missing component in so many. Lots of times managers feel like they don't have any content. And so, the filler syndrome, where we just see putting anything. And it's like some things are better as an email that's admin coming from an admin staff, and other things are sales. And I'm glad you pointed out that you're teaching them really how to sell. And this collaborative group is selling houses, which is increasing market share, which is another great selling point of our value proposition, is that we sell on average, whatever percentage that is. You should go figure that out, because I bet it's growing. Talking about adding value to your agent base. Okay. I know both of you work with your agents individually. I know you put on training sessions. I know you also coach, and you act as a partner and coach to some of your agents and those that really want it. Describe for us how you mentor or coach an agent. Training is one thing. Training is training, and coaching is doing it with them. Coaching is going down the football field while they're playing and teaching them the moves and the modifications and what to say differently on a phone call. How do you tell us what your typical week looks like for training sessions, maybe live coaching and group sessions, and then also hit on how you work with people individually. Some of them who don't know they're being coached sometimes, right? Because if we told them, they would freak out. I don't want to look at my numbers, That was not me as an agent. But the ones who don't want to look at their numbers, how do you coach them? Jason, I'll start with you.
We've got so much content coming at us now, and that the company is putting out 4 to 5 training opportunities every single week. And then I do what I do as a group, which is once or twice a week. And so there's a lot of opportunity for them to get training, and there's less opportunity to find that individual coaching. And so, I think I really rely on the agents that want it to communicate that, hey, I need something more. I'm not getting, maybe what I would like to have. And so for those people, they know, of course, that we can sit down individually at any time and go through the book and go through their listings and their sales or their marketing materials, and determine whether or not maybe it's a rebranding, maybe it's a remessaging, maybe it's a new strategy or a new tool or something that they can implement to help them. But for us, we've just got a lot of opportunity to learn and grow. And some agents want a little bit more than that. And for that, I'm always available.
It's so great to take an agent and really make an impactful difference. Take that agent and help them do 10 or 12 or 15 more units next year. They didn't even know they could do it. And it was you who said, hey, let's grow your business. I'm here. I'll be your accountability partner. I can help you. And it's just that's the value behind what you get. It's nothing better than when an agent says, I'm never leaving you, right? Because you built my business. And it's great. You said you do it at any time and you offer the availability. And you said it earlier, Jason, it's being responsive and answering being immediately responsive with these agents, because that's when they need us. Earl, and then Mac, if you want to add anything on this. So Earl, coaching.
So this is my favorite part of the job. I love it, right? So we do training. So every Monday night, I have come up with a very creative name for this training program. It's called Monday Night Training. And it is a 14-week series. And all of our new folks go through it. We teach them how to write a contract, professional courtesies, title, mortgage, everything that you need to know to be an effective real estate agent. We teach you how to do that in that Monday night training. During that Monday night training, we kind of assess them and we pair them with a like-minded person who serves as their mentor. So it is a wonderful opportunity for us to get to know them, pair them with their mentor. So that happens once a week. And then every other Friday, Sherry allowed me to steal one of her taglines. And I have what is called Gold Mine Pipeline. And it was built off Sherry's Gold Mine Pipeline thing that comes out of her coaching program about how to build your sales pipeline. Y'all, it's absolutely wonderful what she provides. So we start that Gold Mine Pipeline training with Sherry's model, and then from there we move into additional courses. So that's a 7-series course that all of our new folks go through. During that, and this is all happening at the branch level, we have Realty South U in our corporate umbrella that's doing CEs and post license and that kind of stuff. But what I'm talking about, we're doing at the branch level. And then I do the one-on-one coaching. I don't do that with tons of people, but I do have agents that are interested in that one-on-one coaching. And like last week, I was with a brand new agent presenting 5 offers on a listing that she had 18 showings on and went way above list price. And it was so much fun that I thought I need to go back into the field. I just loved it. And it was a great learning experience for her. So that's kind of what we're doing, coaching, training, all of that.
That's awesome. And I didn't know which tagline you were going to say, but yeah, that makes sense. The Gold Mine Pipeline. And I think you one year you had like $75 million tracked with like 20 some agents. And I was like, this is unbelievable. Very cool. That's cool stuff right there. You're both sales managers. And I think there's, a need for us to put on that sort of that leadership role and act as a sales manager and not a desk manager. We're not sitting at our desk waiting for agents to come to us with a contract problem. You're actually out there, right, of providing the environment, the enthusiasm. I want to mention Stacia. Is it Stacia?
Stacia.
Stacia, I'm saying it right. Hi, good to see you. And she commented in our when you were talking earlier, Jason, that you've hit your goal every month. So I think that's a huge point to shout out. Also, somebody's asking, Julie Giles is asking, how do you get your agents to attend? Because I think this question's right on point. Before I switch gears, how do you get your agents to attend? What topics are you offering? What topics are consistent every week, and then what are some topics that change? So whoever wants to go first with that.
So today, for example, we had our sales meeting today, and it was really, really, I thought, one of our best. And the topic was, what is today's #1 listing objection? And that came straight from a Tom Ferry email. That landed in my inbox. And so, I've always been a student of real estate, and I love watching and learning and listening to those that have gone before and who do more than I do. And so, I took that topic and I brought it to the audience in our sales meeting today. And man, it just turned into something phenomenal. There was so much participation and so much, so much talk around the idea of, what is the #1 listing objection today? And that is that we don't have enough inventory, so nobody wants to sell their house, right? And so they're afraid they're going to end up homeless. And so, what are some what are some strategies that we can use to prevent someone from, living in an apartment for 6 months, while they're homeless, essentially. And so it was a really, really good topic today. And so I think I'm always looking for something that I think will be interesting. And because I'm a student of the industry and I watch and follow and listen to a lot of different people, I do pretty good job at keeping them engaged.
Absolutely. And I know both of you are, because I'm in your Facebook groups that you have
Yeah.
for your office. I wanted to touch on that because you both have fabulous energy in a Facebook group that brings about success where other agents now want to post their successes. You are dropping, great articles in there, videos, interviews I've seen. I see that momentum in the Facebook groups that you've both created. And these are not public facing Facebook groups. I want to be clear. They're the Facebook group. It's a private group for your agents only. And again, you're the leader and you're having unbelievable points on that. Do you want to comment on that, Jason, before I turn it over to Earl?
I love my Facebook group. Yeah, we created, one of the first things I did was to create this private office only Facebook group. And it's very important to me. And so I pay a lot of attention to it. And I try every single day to post something of value, something useful. And I share a lot of your stuff, Sherry. So thank you for putting that content out there. so yeah, I love our group.
Yeah, it's cool. And I watched the agents respond. So Earl.
Yes. So
you talked about the consistency of your training. Tell us how you use the Facebook group.
Yeah, the Facebook group, they respond better to that than they do email. And agents just, me included, I mean, my inbox is just inundated with garbage, right? And I can send out an email and they won't read it. I put it in the Facebook group and they read it. And they feed off each other and they comment, and that environment and that culture and that feeling, it carries over to a Facebook group. I also do a lot public facing where I do attaboys and attagirls a lot. So I take our top 10 agents in each branch once a month and I post it on social media. And that gets a lot of play because that makes the agents look good within their sphere, right? And their sphere sees that consistency of month after month after month. They're a top producer, and it really creates energy outside of our office for the office using those social media channels.
No, you're right. They comment and then they post their own pictures of what they're doing. They say they got a new listing. They say they make calls. Mac, anything to add to this conversation? Because I see your perspective is different and I think it will help.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot from Earl and Jason here, to be frank. Obviously I'm not in a position where I'm leading a bunch of agents, but do have a slightly different perspective around how people are trying to add value to their agents and create engagement. Kind of looking at the slide here, one thing that I see a lot of people do in terms of positioning to create value is the technology. Obviously, we're a technology firm, so they position the Boomtown platform as being a big value add and a discussion topic for best practices when they come into their sales meetings. But it is a very much common practice that I see across our top brokerages and top teams. And yeah, I think that's my only addition. I try not to speak out of line with these two here that are actually running massive businesses, and I'm just here being a sponsor. So thank you, Sherry.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, that is that's true. And we price is what people pay. So I pay a price to be at this brokerage that I belong to, whether it's Long and Foster or Realty South. And the value, right, is what I get for that relationship. And so when we really think about value, the experience we have creates the value. And I just heard it said from like all three of you guys, each of you said it differently, and it's that feeling that they get. And what I love about when I was in leadership and managing 700 plus agents was like, create the feeling and keep creating that feeling. So we go from one incentive to the next winning thing. And next month, you're also a winner. And guess what? I recognized you, so you didn't have to post that yourself, right? And so now it's coming from the brokerage, and I don't have to post it and brag about myself as an agent. You're creating that feeling constantly, where actually even the sales meeting is like re-recruiting your agents every single week, because why do I continue to stay here? Because this is the value I get. This is the experience I'm getting. I think that's just really huge. So I don't want to talk too long about we hit on a few things with regard to keeping agents in the game. And both of you talked about having some online meetings virtually, having group, office sales meetings online. Is there anything else you want to add about the virtual platform, or, have you learned some other things in the last few months that agents are now keeping? I know face-to-face conversations are always the best. They can keep deals together better when they're, face-to-face. They can read and respond to body language. What have you seen, or what do you feel are the takeaways that are going to stick in your offices with the virtual?
Zoom. So it's never going away.
Okay.
Zoom and GoToMeeting, and what is Google called theirs now? I think it's called My Meeting. I think these virtual face-to-face platforms are here to stay, and I'm seeing more and more agents take advantage of these virtual opportunities to get face-to-face with their clients. And I just think that that's something that we all need to probably embrace. It's hard. I was thinking about this earlier, and it's really hard to maybe display your office culture through Zoom, especially like in a recruiting conversation. It's a very, very difficult to try to display culture, because like we've already discussed, culture is a feeling, it's an attitude, it's an awareness, and it's a presence. And so, my goal is always to get them into the office as quickly as possible. But I think the virtual introduction is going to outlive us all.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Earl?
Yeah, Zoom's here to stay. And I guess we went virtual at Realty South March 13th, a year ago. And everything since has been via Zoom, training, meetings, sales meeting, everything. And the thing that has really shocked me during all of this is the number of agents that actually love Zoom sales meeting, and that participation has actually gone up. And you have people saying, well, I don't have to get dressed, or I'm on the way to an appointment, or I'm waiting on a client. Participation has increased.
Yeah.
So Zoom is here to stay. And what I'm struggling with is how to get that social component back, that what Jason's talking about, that in-office feeling and culture. And I think what we're going to do is once a month have a get together, have a breakfast, have a lunch, something like that, to kind of counterbalance the new normal, which is now normal. It's been a great learning experience, though.
Yeah, and I know I know that many offices, clients of mine they're having in-office meetings, and they're putting them on Zoom for those who are not coming to the office. So a hybrid, you're right, it's that hybrid is here to stay. And if it helps more people attend, great. People were begging for webinars 5 or 6 years ago. When you think about it, can we have this online? Can we have this online? And here we have it. It's here. And not to mention all of the ways that it's helping our agents sell more effectively and potentially faster, which we could have a whole webinar on that. In the last few minutes, and we can't really delve into a whole talk on recruiting, but I do want to say, with regard to your company culture and how we communicate that value proposition of company culture, how do you use that to, in a few words, and we'll, you can give one or two great ideas, but like, how do you use that company culture value proposition in recruiting new agents or recruiting agents from the competitors? I'll start with you, Earl, first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I've already said it all. Success breeds success, happiness breeds happiness. And to sum it all up, if I have happy agents, they're going to help me recruit. And I want to be an office of attraction. I do not want to be an office of promotion. And if you in Central Alabama talk about my offices, it is one of success. And people know that we're successful, and people know that we have professional agents. I don't want headcount. I want professional people just like the folks I have. And they recruit like-minded people. And they are the best source of my recruiting, both new and existing agents.
I love it. I love it. Jason.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of success with agents recruiting agents, and I got to tell you, that's the icing on the cake, right? Absolutely love, to get an agent referral of another agent. So that's really, really powerful. But I think, for using our company culture or office branch culture, it's all about competence, because I think if we can teach them what they need to know and what they want to know, then that inspires confidence, right, with the F, and the confidence makes them optimistic because they feel like, they have the answers. And I think optimistic people sell more real estate. I think they do better and they're happier, which, comes all the way back to, the office and the culture and the environment that we promote here. So competence, confidence, culture.
Love it. It sounds like both of you would say that it's easy to, and really attraction is the answer, or like 100% agree with you. It's easy to recruit to a winning team. We are playing on a winning team. Everybody contributes, everyone's respected, everyone feels a part of that because of the environments that you are directly responsible for. And so that's huge. And I think when people in your office refer people, it's a huge compliment to the company, to you. And it just, like you said, it just continues to bring the right people in. People don't make it in our cultures that we set like this if they aren't the right kind of people. They either, the system either like pushes them out, or they realize they aren't the right fit either. So I think that always happens when you hire the wrong person. They just don't work. And the culture. You are not it, it's the culture and the team, and you both have done that amazingly well. My last question is about what your best advice, what's in a nutshell, because I know it's going to be hard to condense into something quick, but I know both of you can do this. So what should managers and brokers that are out there listening, who want to have a culture of success, who want to have recruiting that happens organically and happens because of a attraction environment, and what is one thing that you could suggest that they stop doing and one thing that they start doing to get more results? Jason.
They could stop judging an agent's value by the numbers in the spreadsheets. I think, because it's really important to me, when I was converting Zillow leads, for example, as an agent, it was really critical to not prejudge where that relationship might take me. And so I think, it's the same now for an agent. Just because my agent may not be selling a lot today doesn't mean that they won't in the future. And it also doesn't mean that they won't introduce me to somebody that happens to be a rock star, right? So there's something to be said for looking at the agents as human beings and not just numbers on the spreadsheet. So
Excellent.
Don't compare yourself to any other real estate brokerage. Don't
Yeah.
Of course, you're not going to talk negatively about them, but don't even acknowledge them, right? That was the thing that I would say, that's the thing I'd say stop doing. And the thing you need to start doing is talk about you and talk about your branch and talk about your company and the environment and the culture. And it's what I teach agents about an assumptive close, right? You want to go into that sales process where you're assuming they're going to come to you. So you phrase it all and we're awesome and here's why. And you got to get to that agent's why. You got to understand why they're sitting in front of you to be able to figure out your pitch about why you're awesome.
I love it. I love both those answers. Wow, this has been such an awesome hour. I am really excited for those listening that they can take so much of what you just shared, put it into action immediately, right away, even, right? And just so many gems and best practices that just got shared. I can't thank you guys enough. It has been an absolute pleasure to moderate this. Before we go, though, I'm excited because Boomtown is offering a free giveaway on these fantastic tools. They're available right here now in the GoToMeeting as a download. You'll see in the GoToWebinar control panel where it says handouts, and you can download them immediately. And one of them is the 12 critical mindset shifts from a 7-figure success story. You're going to want to download that. The second one is 6 tips for standing out against competitors. Both are awesome. I read them. They're fantastic pieces. Mac, anything you want to add to that?
Sherry, all about culture. One of our core values is seeking and sharing knowledge. All of these practices and tips that we put into these PDFs and white papers come from our experience talking and learning from our community of clients. We've got some incredible clients out there doing big business. So a lot of great content and value to be had in those. Definitely encourage y'all to download them and check them out.
Excellent. And then also, this is available. You want to tell us about this?
Yeah, absolutely. We put together a product tour to give you all a quick glimpse of our services and software solutions. So if you all want to learn more about how Boomtown can help improve your business, how we can partner in helping you become more successful, definitely check out that link, boomtownroi.com/product-tour, and get a feel for what we're doing and reach out to our team. We're more than happy to help.
Awesome. And I see one, I got some feedback and some great comments. Another question I just thought I'd throw out here while we have a second. Any creative ideas on, this is from Jason, any creative ideas on showing emotion or reading emotion while everyone is wearing masks for in-person showings?
Interesting.
Get the clear ones, right? I mean,
I would have to say, I think
very
emotion is critical, right? And we all need to see and experience that. So I would say social distance, 6 feet away. that's tough. Really hard. Yeah.
Your eyebrows and eyes tell a lot about what your mouth is saying.
Yeah, and I think let's all pray we're turning the final bend of this whole thing, and we'll continue to create some great ideas. I hope that was a good answer for you, Jason. Sherry Johnson Coaching, we're giving you all a 30-minute free strategy call for consulting. If you're a broker, if you are an agent, coaching. So 30 minutes of free coaching available. There'll be a link in the email. There'll also should be a link here for you to go to sherryjohnson.com and hit event, and you can schedule your own private coaching session for 30 minutes. If you are a broker or manager on this call, you'll have that for sure with me. And hopefully if you're an agent on this call and you want to have that with me, say that too in the notes. I'd love to talk to you and help you grow your businesses, grow your company, and help you. We are so excited that you are all here today. And as we say, success is contagious. Thank you to Boomtown for sponsoring today's webinar, the RISMedia webinar series. is brought to you today exclusively by Boomtown. And Earl and Jason, I just want to thank you one more time for your amazing examples that you are. You two you rock, and you're two of my favorite people. So glad you're in my life. And thank you again to RISMedia for putting the webinar series on today. We've thoroughly enjoyed this. Mac, thanks so much for the handouts. Thanks for all the advice, and everybody go have a great, successful week selling real estate, and we'll see you again on our next RISMedia webinar. Take care, everybody.
See
Thanks
ya.
all. Bye-bye.